Good evening, everyone in the US. Good morning to everyone over in Japan and the rest of the world. My name is Anthony Ray. I want to welcome you to our first live chat here, immigration chat here on our Ray Law International channel. It's so good to have you with us, and hopefully you came ready with your questions and ready to learn. We have a lot of things that we want to cover. This first section is going to be about 30 minutes. It all depends on the number of questions we get, but I wanted to set aside 30 minutes. We'll be doing this weekly with another day. Make sure you subscribe so you'll find out when our next live chat will be. Um, Kind of why we're doing this. Why are we doing a weekly immigration chat when we have hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel. You can check those out. And we also do a monthly live video that we put out, which is coming out next week. So check that out. But why are we doing this? Mainly, a lot of you guys, everyone works and everyone's busy. So we wanted to try to choose a time that would be convenient for you, that you will be available to learn more about immigration and also to ask your questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. I am the one checking your questions, so I'll see those coming in, whether it's through Facebook or YouTube. But go ahead and put your questions, comments in there. Say hi from wherever in the world you are. Always make sure you put your, what country you're from and where you're listening from. So feel free to say hi and let us know. The second reason we're doing this is it's our mission to make sure we get good immigration information out to you guys. There are so many misleading things, and of course, for most people, English is their second language. So we want to make sure it's clear to you in your language, and if it's in English, that you clearly understand and you're not misled by other people. The other thing is, this is a good opportunity to meet our staff. In the future, we're going to have our guests come on. Some will be the staff. Some of those people are the ones that helped you get your green card or your visa or, your naturalization certificate. So it'll be a good chance for you guys to get to see the rest of the firm. Again, for those who just got on, just want to let you know, this is a temporary setup. I'm off-site down here in Florida for a family event. So I apologize about the sound or the background or the quality, but next time we'll be back in our office with a better setup. So one of the things you're going to find out or get from this is you're going to have the opportunity to ask your questions. We have 3 topics I want to cover today real quick. And we'll get to that in a minute. But who are we? Who are we at Ray Law International? We help HR senior managers and individuals overcome immigration barriers to bring key employees and family members to the U.S. We're going to take you through the whole process. We're going to educate you. We're going to remind you. We're going to go over that multiple times to make sure you're taken care of through the whole process and that you, your family, your employees, your company has a very good process through the whole immigration process. So during this live chat, what you can expect are questions from other people. And for example, there's a question regarding a C1 there. You're going to expect questions from, we'll get to that in a minute. There's questions from other people. You'll get information on some of the topics we're going to talk about, such as immigration court, the laws regarding immigration courts for employers. And then we're also going to talk about TPS real briefly, if we can get to all of those. If we don't get to something today, don't worry, we'll get into it at the next section, which right now we're scheduled for Thursday at 9 Eastern Standard Time. So first of all, let's see, there's a question regarding the C1. Go ahead, write that question out. C1 and D1s are our special visas for crew and people on ships. Just basically, a lot of people want to adjust status or change to another visa, and there is a prohibition on adjusting status from C1 or D1 to adjustment of status. Now, does the USCIS always follow that? Not always, but you have to be aware of that. If the USCIS is savvy to that, or someone questions you on that, it is in the regulations. Feel free to email us, or if there's a more specific question about the C1 visa, let us know. But there's always a way to handle that. If you're in C1 and you're airline stewardess, or if it may be on a boat, maybe you're going on one of the cruise ships here in Florida, out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami. There are ways to properly go through the immigration system to make sure that you meet your goal, whether that's becoming a student, whether that's becoming a family member, getting married to a U.S. citizen. Just let us know, okay? So, and let's see. So it's Anthony. One of the questions here, I'm going to put it up on the screen for everyone to see. Thanks, Anthony. The C1 is the transition visa, correct? Yes, that is correct. It's basically C1 is people just passing through. Again, stewardess, pilots. If you're a pilot from Japan, coming in temporarily and going back to Japan or going to Europe, you're going to get that C1 visa, and that's going to allow you to enter the United States, sleep at a hotel, do a short excursion, and then get out. Remember, one of the restrictions is the USCIS under the regulations says you can't change or adjust status. If you marry a U.S. citizen, are you allowed to go ahead and get a green card? You have to be very careful. There are better ways of doing it than just changing status in that way. So, hey, a shout out to Celia Alvarez out there. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to jump right into our first question, and cinnamon rolls. We'll get back to you in just a moment, but I do want to get to the first one because I only got 30 minutes today, and we'll have more time next time. But the first thing I wanted to put on the screen or let you guys know about is the TPS, Temporary Protected Status. I know a lot of people out there are familiar with TPS, but there's a lot of news about that regarding TPS for Afghanistan nationals and Ukraine nationals. So you want to make sure that if you're in the U.S. And you're an Afghanistan national or a Ukraine national, doesn't matter your status category, if you had a criminal background, it doesn't matter if you were already ordered deported, you still qualify for temporary protected status. Okay, you always want to get the advice of an immigration attorney as to, hey, what happens if TPS ends? Right now, TPS for Ukraine is 18 months, and we're looking at Afghanistan of how long that's going to last and when it's going to be reintroduced. So follow the news, stay up to date. It's changing all the time. Congress and the executive branch, they're always coming up with new things for people. We're still waiting for Ukraine on TPS and other relief. Are they going to allow family members to, family members of U.S. citizens or green card holders to come in under a special visa category? We're still waiting. The circumstances and everything out in Ukraine, in that part of the world, is just awful. Our hearts go out to everybody out there that's going through that. We are helping many people in the Ukrainian community, get them over here. 100,000, refugee visas is not a lot. It really isn't. When we talk about the hundreds of thousands of immigrants that come into the U.S. each year, 100,000 for Ukraine is not enough. We really need to help more people. So hopefully our politicians, our government officials will listen, not just to me, but to the voices, everyone that's reaching out to Congress to increase those numbers and set up a special visa category. For Afghanistan, we just put people on planes and flew them over here. And circumstances were different, but, I think we can do a lot more to bring, to help people out. All right. Let's go to our question. Let's see. There was a question. I have a friend in Colombia who I would like to see and spend a few hours with before she goes to the Bahamas. I have a friend in Colombia who I would like to see. Need a little bit more information, cinnamon rolls. Is I have a friend in Colombia. Where in Colombia? So if you're on C1 and you want to see someone in the US and you have a few hours, if your flight allows for that, okay, she doesn't have a US visa. So your Colombian friend who doesn't have a US visa, well, remember the C1. If you want to see your friend in the US, that person or you both have to have a visa to be in the US, or you could be a US citizen. So I think what you want to do is say, hey, I'm a US citizen. My friend is probably a Colombian national. She is a flight attendant. She goes to the Bahamas, but I mean, where in the US do you want to see her? I guess. And in that case, some of these people on a C1 can also get a B1, B2. So you might want to suggest your friend obtain a B1, B2 visa as well as that C1 in case they do want to come here and visit. And most likely, if you already have a C1 visa and you've obeyed the US immigration laws, they're definitely, going to give you that B1, B2 visa. And when she enters in, if she, for example, is coming for work, she can do that and just spend a day a little bit longer. Or if they're coming in as a visitor, then you can, of course, meet and visit and stay in the United States. Okay. And Cinnamon Rolls, what's your status in the US, if you don't mind sharing that? Go ahead and. All right. While we wait for that question, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is also very, very important. We're talking about employers. In the US right now, a lot of employers are having trouble hiring individuals, and they're calling us day in and day out. How do I get this person from South Africa? How do I get this person from the UK or Asia or Japan or wherever it may be? And the problem is, uh, you know, there is no quick visa to get them here immediately. Some people will throw out the J1 visa, others will, you know, try to say it's quick, but you're looking at anywhere from 6 to 12 months before you get someone here on a non immigrant visa. So, proper planning is important. So, if you cannot find your employees here in the United States, let's say you're a Montessori, for example, you need teachers to come over, you need to plan 6 months or 12 months out. Also, you need to look not only on the non-immigrant side, but also the immigrant side, the green card side. And I have one of the things we're seeing here is the U.S. employment rate is down at 3.5%, which means everyone who's going to be working is working already. And we need more workers. Now, while a lot of businesses are begging and asking Congress to increase visas or make it easier for people to come in, this is an election year. People are voting for our politicians come November. Even today, on Tuesday, there's elections going on. Politicians will not do anything on immigration if it's going to be to their detriment when it comes to getting reelected. So, keep that in mind. Even though it makes good business sense, unfortunately, it's not likely to happen. And the problem with our system is it seems like every 2 years there's an election. Therefore, we talk about immigration, we talk about the problems, but we don't solve the problems whatsoever. So, what are your options? What are your options as an employer? Simply, you need to plan in advance. Look at your non-immigrant categories: H-1B, H-2Bs, H-2As if you're in agriculture. You can also look at, for a short term, maybe an H3 training visa if you're bringing them in to train, maybe a J1 for exchange so they can get trained and take that information back to their country. Be careful on the J1 for the 2-year foreign residency requirement. Also, on the green card side, where maybe the H2B isn't really going to work for your business. Let's say you're a restaurant and you need someone here all the time. Maybe you need a chef. Then you're going to look directly to the green card option. You can start the green card option and get the person here in 2 to 3 years in most categories. Now, for our uh, nationals from China, India, and a few other countries, it may take a little bit longer, but it's still going to be a lot quicker than not having anyone at all. And realize, folks, that the problems we're facing now in 2 years, you're going to still have low unemployment and not be able to find the people you need or the people willing to work in those jobs in order to build your business and help it grow. So, for our employers out there, make sure you take advantage of both the non-immigrant visas and the green cards in, you know, solving or taking care of this employment that everywhere you go, you always see, hiring. Everyone is looking to hire someone right now, literally everyone, and there's just not enough people available to fill those jobs. And what are we seeing? We're seeing an increase in inflation. We're seeing an increase in wages, and it's costing us all. Gas pump, food. I hear it all the time. The prices in the grocery store and for all our items are going higher. So let's talk to your politicians to get them to let in people in the proper visas, the proper way, legally, and so that we can, continue to grow, manufacture, increase in our service sectors, and move on from there. Okay, let me go back to our questions here. I see we have a few more. Let me read over those real quick. Go ahead if you're new. If you're new, just joining us. If you have immigration questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. We'll try to get to them today. We only have about 15 minutes or so left, and we have one more topic. I want to talk about immigration courts and what's been proposed in Congress. But let me see. So back to cinnamon rolls every day. Yep, you're a U.S. citizen, but because oh yeah, child support. That's a killer. Um, People who have U.S. citizens who have criminal background, maybe they haven't paid their taxes, maybe child support. Those can impact people's ability to bring in foreign nationals, spouses, or other family members. So keep that in mind. That's why you want to have an immigration attorney to check that, look into that, follow up, and give you ideas and ways to correct that. For example, if you are going for citizenship and you haven't paid your taxes and you have arrear taxes, if you're in a payment program, no problem. The officers are okay. So we're going to get you into an IRS payment plan program, whether that's $200 a month, $500 a month, that's going to allow you to naturalize or get your green card. So there's ways to deal with those things. So that's why you want to give us a call and talk about it in these chats and forums. Let's see. Yeah, right now, because of the pandemic, here, yeah, the B1, B2s, it is a long wait, whether it's Mexico and other places. Some places are a year out, even longer. It is tough. If that person comes in, well, again, if they're on a C1, if they have a layover, so what you want to look at is most airline professionals, if they're coming in on a C1, if they have a layover for a day, then you're going to have that time to take them around and do those things. If you have met this person already, you might want to work with an immigration attorney to see what you can do to do a fiance visa if that's where this relationship is going. The B1, B2 right now, because of the backlog, because the U.S. embassies are understaffed, also on that employment, the USCI, the government is looking to hire. If you're looking for work, I just put a video out there, get a job. But for government jobs, if you're looking for a job with the USCIS, they're looking for asylum officers. If you're looking for a job with the Department of State at the consulates, they're looking for people right now. I mean, anyone who's not working who wants to work, there should be no excuse. You should be out there. So one of the things to do, cinnamon rolls every day, is to really work with a professional to see what you can do to kind of meet your ultimate goal. I think for now, for the short term, you might end up, if you can, travel abroad and meet that person abroad, whether that's the Bahamas or a third country. So unfortunately, I don't have a really easy answer for that, but I think if we strategize, you can come up with some good ideas for that, or some solutions, actually. All right. So the last topic I wanted to jump in and talk about, which is really exciting, and this is a huge problem. Everyone's heard about the 1.7 million people in immigration court, right? And it's just growing and getting bigger. We have, due to estimates, we have anywhere from 14 to 18 million people who are here illegally. So our immigration court system is not set up to even handle the 1.7 million. And what we're seeing with our clients is immigration court is just dismissing these cases. Essentially, what the U.S. immigration courts are doing that we see is they're just throwing people out there. Part of this may be political, to reduce the number of people, to reduce that 1.7 million and say, hey, politically, we reduce the number of cases. The American people don't know that these cases are just dismissed and people are still here going nowhere. They can't go back, they can't go forward, and they're still stuck in limbo. This is a good solution. Now, what our House has done is they introduced a bill that would introduce an Article 1 court. What is an Article 1 court? An Article 1 court is a court that was issued or authorized by the Constitution. And this is what most people are familiar with. And basically, this would take the authority away from the Department of Justice and give it back to make it independent under the legislative branch. And this way, the whole immigration system would not be a political football going back and forth, because every 4 years, the winds turn and the problem never gets resolved. Another great point about having an independent court is things are going to be more efficient. There's now, not saying is every court has their own issues or problems, but you've got 1.7 million. Our criminal system, they move people quickly. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it, but they do move people quickly, and they have a system. It's efficient. And right now, there's no efficiency. I mean, there's no rules. You don't know what to do. I mean, they're just throwing people out onto the streets, essentially, and say, we'll get to you whenever the next president, gets into power. And what are they going to do? Put them right back in. And so now we're going to be at 2 million people in the immigration court without improving the system. By creating this independent court, an Article 1 court, and having judges that are not controlled by politics or, by the Attorney General, who's, controls the decisions, we're going to get a system that's going to be efficient. They're going to be held accountable. They're going to stick with the rulings. We're going to actually have cases that really mean something, meaning, what they say today is what's going to be held for the next day. So if you can, if you're a U.S. citizen or someone who's authorized to vote, reach out to your politician, encourage them to approve and move this forward. It really is bipartisan, meaning it benefits both parties, or it shouldn't even be a political issue. It's just running our government more efficiently. It's spending my tax dollars and your tax dollars more reasonably, because right now, I mean, it's just a time bomb, ticking away, and we pay for it one way or the other. Why not do it efficiently and have people held accountable to move and make it a really good system? This is key to reforming our immigration system. This is just one of the many steps that really needs to take place. Let me see. All right, let's see. One of the things you can do to reach out to us, you can always contact us. I'll put our contact information here in the chat. So feel free. You can email us, call us tomorrow. Vladimir is going to be waiting, ready to take your call. Text us, whatever it takes. Reach out to us so that we can kind of look at your case in more detail. And we'll be able to help you guys out. So in closing, I just want to touch on a few things. This is the first immigration live chat we have, weekly live chat. Thank you. And thank you for joining. I want to encourage you. Our goal this month is to hit 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go to our YouTube channel, check us out. There's over 300 videos out there with immigration on all these topics. Everything you wanted to know about, it's there. You'll get to see us, other people in our staff. Our next hour-long morning live video is going to be next week on the 18th. We'll give you more information on that, probably on Thursday once we get some more information. Lauren and a few other staff members are putting that together, which is exciting. So I think we covered everything we needed to today. Let me see, any other questions? If there's any other questions you have afterwards, feel free to put them in the chat. We will be following up on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and other forums in order to make sure that you guys are taken care of. I want to say thank you for joining us today, and it has been a pleasure helping and serving you guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys later. Until next time, stay safe and stay educated. Mata ne.